Welcome back folks, my name is LastKnownMeal and today we're going to learn about the net in the Cyberpunk universe, from the initial beginning of just setting up the framework to today where the net has been destroyed after the Fourth Corporate War, so let's get into it, Chumbas. First off, there will be a couple of names to remember, and those are Rache Bartmoss, Alt Cunningham, and Spider Murphy. But before we talk about these particular individuals, we have to go back to the beginning of the net itself. Now, when you imagine the net in the Cyberpunk universe, it's not just sitting in front of your PC and browsing around. The net in this universe is much more sophisticated in a sense where you as a person can actually plug into the alternate plane of reality, as Rache likes to say it. So from the physical plane that we inhabit to the spiritual, emotional, divine and financial one, there is the information plane, and that is the net. Every system, every device, whatever makes the net, it's a whole field of information you can find, scavenge and steal. Now that's when Netrunners come into place. We have to separate them from crystal jockeying or hackers in that sense, because those people are on the ground, they don't fully go inside the net. Meanwhile, Netrunners are the ones who go inside the thing and are capable of hacking things from remote locations that are not even close to where the person is attacking. Now, in the net itself, all rules of normal world don't apply anymore. Imagine a computer virus, you can't see it, but once your PC is compromised, you have messages or whatever, or it shuts down. But in the net, a daemon or a virus can take a form of a snake or whatever, which basically attacks you, or well, hacks you, but in that reality, which is the net, that thing feels very much alive. That's actually where those news of Pokemon Go in Cyberpunk came out, and no, it's not like that. It's basically avatars that take shape of a daemon or a virus that you send to someone. It's kind of similar, but not really like that, and we still don't know if actually like in the game it's going to be done in that way, where you attack someone, either a new netrunner, by using those software and they will take shapes or forms. We don't know that. Keep in mind, when you are inside the net, you have your senses, smell, vision, whatever. There are even some security measures that can overload your senses, like smell, sight, your movement. So in order to escape that, you actually have to forsaken your senses, and you cannot trust your brain. It's difficult, but it's one of the ways of escaping a virus or a program if you are stuck in the net. But later, because it overloaded your senses, once you get out, you have like side effects like vomiting, sickness. It doesn't matter. But also, since you are in the net, your cyberdeck acts like a gateway, so if you leave it open and the program gets to you, it can pretty much flatline you in real life. Now, in the guide to the net by Rache Bartmoss, he goes back to talk about overall beginning of the net, heading all the way into 17th century when Bell invented the telephone. Of course, later computers came and people started using them like crazy. Keep in mind, this is a different reality, so technology moved up a bit faster and in a different way than it did today. You didn't have UIs and all of that, which you have today, like websites and all of that. Before, it was kind of a terminal, old age internet. But in 2005, when the second generation of cybermodem came out from Kenjeri Technologies, that's when the net actually became really popular, because Kenjeri and some other companies worked on their cybermodem with the help of Janice A. Grubb, who was a net wizard at that time, and Kenjeri brothers, who were Nobuhiko and Tsuneta. So Janice then established the first net interface program, and Nobuhiko Kenjeri translated the program to sensory input, and that's where he actually got this net that we know today. Now again, there is a difference between the net and internet. Internet in Cyberpunk universe is basically like a coalition of phone companies, and even though they are decentralized, that makes them one of the biggest and most dangerous groups, since they don't own the net, they are the net. Of course, all of this was understanding of the net before, since when we imagine the net today, you see a website and UI and whatever, as I said. When this was written, internet in our lives was just the beginning, so It's more of that command prompt terminal action, as I said. Of course, in the net you also have AIs, or artificial intelligences, that operate either under someone, a group, corporation, government, whatever, and a rogue AI which kinda free roam and set up their own shops, figuratively speaking, of course. But they can be extremely deadly, since as a netrunner you are kinda in their domain. But of course, the net is always monitored by Netwatch. They are a security corporation which does just that, protect and police the net. If you try to hack something or steal something, they will hunt you down. Of course, every corpo has their own framework protected, and if you are seen, you will have agents storming into your home and, well, no one will ever hear about you. Just ask Rache. That's why good netrunners are hired to go inside the net and hack some info, but as you can hack something, someone can hack you. Now, the net can also be divided into categories like Black Ice Data Fort, which are corporations, governments, so generally top tier secret places. Then the overall data fort, which has 3 levels. The first one are public companies, private data banks, then level 2 are semi-secure companies, most public works. And of course, level 3 are secure companies with a very tight grip on their grids and security. You also have BBS Data Fortress that we had seen in Deep Dive demo. You have the public ones, which are used for public gatherings, virtual prostitution, and private BBS that are private clubs in a sense to exclusive members, but a lot of shady things happen in those BBSs. In the end, you also have public data forts, so those are libraries, art galleries, university, but they might have a second one which is protected for sensitive material like private information, etc. But here comes the problem. Since the fourth corporate war started, the net became the same war zone like real world, where Arasaka was going off on Militech and so forth, which means net became very difficult and dangerous to explore. And on top of that, Rache Bartmoss, the legendary netrunner, built a dead man switch in case he was killed, and well, his heart stopped, so Rabbit's virus that he created was released. That virus basically wiped 75% of the internet. That's a self-replicating AI which started causing chaos in the net, corrupting programs, destroying people, literally destroying people. Military schematics started appearing public, so Netwatch had to do something. If those AIs get out, if basically the net is destroyed, those AIs will go after everything inside the net. So every company, every mega corporation, every human, everything which is connected. So in order to stop that, they built the Black Wall. And the Black Wall, which was built by Netwatch, still stands tall today, even in 2077. But keep in mind, Voodoo Boys want to access that. Meanwhile, Netwatch is still trying to stop it. So the net that we knew before was done. The global one is destroyed. Right now you can only connect in certain regions or city nets, and you can view only stuff from there. You can't really connect to Europe or Neo-Russia or whatever. You're kinda stuck in your own region. So what about Alt Cunningham? Well, Alt made a really nice program called the Soul Killer, which basically flatlines your physical body and you are extracted, or well, copied onto the net. That means you are alive, but you are inside the net itself, and your memory, your data is copied onto that. It's kinda like Johnny. So the chip, the Immortality one, there are speculations that it's basically Soul Killer or some version of that, but Johnny is definitely stuck in one. Also, Alt is stuck behind the Black Wall. You see, Soul Killer was actually used on her, and Alt is behind the wall itself, still waiting in 2077. Now, people don't know what those AIs will do if they are released. I mean, we don't know the true intentions of Voodoo Boys. Maybe they view those AIs as gods, maybe they want the AIs to overtake the world, you know, Skynet situation, or they will do nothing, you know, just coexist in the net itself and with us. But again, the Rabbit's virus, that's the problem, it's still there, and if released, it can pretty much cause chaos, so be careful what you do there and be careful what you do with the Black Wall. So how can people access the net like that? Well, in Cyberpunk you are pretty much a computer yourself. In Deep Dive, V lies into ice, and the reason for that is that you don't overheat when you are inside. It's extra stress for the body, and if you overheat, well, it won't be good. That's why you have that net running gear and augmentations that have best cooling solutions, faster transfer, whatever, but it all goes in favor of net running itself. So in 2077, we don't know to what extent we will go in there. Of course, you can still hack stuff within the city network or, well, just other people, but the net is a whole different game. And what about Spider Murphy? Well, along with Alt and Rache, she is one of the best net runners there is. She also edited the guide to the net itself, but Murphy is a story for another day. So this was kinda the history of the net. Shorter, of course, there are many things and details we're going to explore later in my future videos I had already planned. So if you have any questions, drop them down below, and also smash that like and subscribe button for more Cyberpunk lore, news and explainer videos. Also join our growing community on Twitter and Discord, and I do have a Patreon page. If you are looking for an extra way to support the channel, you can do it down below. And huge thanks to my current Patreon supporters. This is LKM signing out, and stay classy everyone. Bye bye.